Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our second series of the Malaysian Olympism in Action Facebook Live series, if you want to call it that. And I'm back again. I think you saw me in my last session in the first series. And today we have someone very special, and we're going to be talking about something quite interesting. Ani, how many of us here has been through PE, physical education? Or for Malaysians who are tuning in today, Pendidikan Jasmani Kesihatan. I think remember that a lot. I think a lot of our memories of PJ or PE is always of a teacher bringing a ball to the field. He throws the ball to you and say, "Okay, main bola, go and play." Right, and then that's pretty much 1 hour later. That's your PE class, and it's all done. So that's a lot of people's impression of PE. But is there more to it? Right? Is there more to what PE was supposed to be? What was the original concept for PE and how is it going to be? And today we have someone very special. I'll be speaking to tonight, Dr. Leo. And Dr. Leo is an educationist. But before I go, I'd like to share something. And since it's been a while since I spoke to Dr. Leo and I've seen him in a while, I'd like to give a little personal touch on my relationship with Dr. Leo. Now, I met Dr. Leo when I was involved with the National Olympic Academy. I was the chief moderator. He's one of the original founders of the board of the National Olympic Academy. And a lot of people don't know this. In fact, I think not many people know this. So I could be sharing a secret right now. And one of it would be that Dr. Leo actually gave me my first opportunity to be a trainer. Right? There was a particular session that he couldn't do. Dr. Leo, I know you're in the backstage right now. I know you can hear me, but to jog your memory, Dr. Leo actually gave me my first chance to be a trainer. He couldn't take a particular training job for a book publisher. I won't name the book publisher. And he said he couldn't do it. He said, why don't you do it? It was a weekend job. I was still working as a lecturer then. And he asked me whether I could do it. And I did it. And after that, it just started from there. It started from one job. I started getting more referrals. I started doing a bit more training. Then eventually, 2 years later, I quit my job. Yes, it was McGraw-Hill, right? So I didn't want to name the name. So Dr. Leo is just telling me it's McGraw-Hill. And he gave me my first chance in the industry. And I'm eternally grateful to it. I still remember that a lot. And I still remember every single time I talk to people when I show them my list of repertoire of clients that I have, it's actually McGraw-Hill. And it's thanks to Dr. Leo. So Dr. Leo actually gave me I would say he can be said as he is the grandpapa of Yellow Shot Consulting, which successful training company and everything. He is the grandpapa of our Yellow Shot Consulting, and I have everything in my fiber right now is thanks to him. So, who is Dr. Leo, right? But before we go into Dr. Leo, let me share with you who we are. The Malaysian Olympism in Action community is comprised of former members, facilitators, and moderators of the National Olympic Academy session. We are athletes, former athletes, coaches, former coaches, administrators, sports managers. We have coaches. We come from all walks of life. We have people ranging from the 60s, 70s, all the way to now. With dietitians, we saw Tanya a few days ago. Nutritionist, a dietitian. We have so many things. We have Olympians. So what we do is we are here. We believe in the concept of Olympism. That it's a way of life. It's basically a philosophy that was introduced by Baron Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the modern Olympic Games. And one of the things that struck us is because that until today, the members of the National Olympic Academy still we gather today, we still go out there, we still preach and we spread the word of Olympism. And it's never gone away from us. So that's why we're here. And we are now on our second series already, from our first series I hope you enjoyed the first series. So on to Dr. Leo. Now, Dr. Leo is a well-known figure in the Malaysian education sector. Right? He was one of the founding fathers of the National Olympic Academy in Malaysia, along with Mr. Chua Tok and Mr. MP Haridas, who was the former general manager of the Olympic Council of Malaysia. He was a curriculum officer at the Ministry of Education from 1977 to 1980 and 1984 to 1986. He's a training specialist at the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, Regional Center for Educational Innovation and Technology in Quezon City. He was an associate professor at University Malaya, and he's not all book smarts, he's also sport smarts. He's also a former Malaysian athlete. He represented Malaysia at the 15th Southeast Asian Games in Kuala Lumpur in the sport of fencing. Right. Dr. Leo is a lecturer. He has presented papers and written articles on the subject of Olympism. And in 1999, his article entitled Strategies for Implementing Olympic Education in Malaysian Schools and Universities was published at the 1999 report at the International Olympic Academy special session. Now he's retired, but of course you can't keep a very active man like Dr. Leo down. He is still serving as the Vice President of the Confederation of Scientific and Technological Associations in Malaysia. And he strongly believes in the power of sport and educational values of Olympism in schools. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome Dr. Leo to our show. Good evening, Dr. Leo.
Good evening, Nicholas.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
I hope the COVID-19 is treating you well.
Oh, of course, we have to adjust to it. This is now normal. This is now normal.
Yes. So today we'll be talking about the topic that a lot of people like to either complain about or thank a lot or like to talk about, which is PE. We always talk about PE a lot. We have to, every morning we always have our parents telling you pack your PE shirt already or not? You know, the common thing, right? Or what to play for PE today, we look forward to it. So Dr. Leo, can maybe we'll get the ball rolling a bit. What is PE to you? Physical education.
Okay, I think let me give a bit of background. Over the years, even the name PE itself, physical education, then people call it PJ, Pendidikan Jasmani in Malay. Later it became PJK. They added the K, which is Kesihatan. So it is physical and health education, or physical education and health. Now, PE is very important. I mean, in school, all of us, because it's a compulsory subject, ever since school started, we thought for a very balanced, individual, educated person, besides just developing, understanding of science and maths and history, geography, it's very important we develop the person physically. So PE came into the curriculum. In fact, PE is a compulsory subject. I think all of us in school, we have 2 periods of PE. So it's a compulsory subject. The only thing is, it is not an examination subject. So,
okay.
So that's the background. It's compulsory. All of us have to do PE. It's a compulsory subject. Every school must offer PE. Yes.
Okay. So, now we know that PE is one of those things you have to take. It's not examinable, but it's a compulsory subject. Yes. But why is sometimes you hear a lot of negative things about PE? It's a waste of time. It's just another slot in the school timetable to kill or something like that. Is that the right thing to say, that it's a waste of time?
Well, the fact that it is a compulsory subject, as far as educators are concerned, our society think that it's very important that everybody must be physically fit. Everybody should be active, because a school is not just to teach you how to think, So I think kids have found a lot of problem. They don't like PE because, sometimes they go into the sun and then I think we're going to talk, most people will know about the problems of PE in school. And there are many factors why PE seems to be a very problematic thing. But I think one of the main factors is our society is too exam-oriented. People must score A's. But then they forgot that physically, we have to be very fit first. Every individual who goes to school, in fact, every one of us, whether a young child or middle age or the older people, fitness is the most important thing. Therefore, physical education is part and parcel of education. Without physical education, I think education will not go very far.
Okay, all right. So where do you see PE leading on to? PE is normally done in primary school, secondary school. How does that lead on to a healthy, since we are talking about a way of life, how does PE later become a way of life?
Yes, I think the curriculum developers and the technical people in the Ministry of Education thought that sometimes we have to link it to health, because physical education, physically fit, you need to be healthy as well. So I thought it's quite a good idea that we, instead of just calling it PJ, Pendidikan Jasmani, it is now Pendidikan Jasmani dan Kesihatan. So in secondary school, they try to integrate together. In primary school, I think they try to separate it. Since 2 periods, one period will be physical education, one period is health education. In other words, physical education should be held outdoors, in the gym, in a swimming pool, in a school hall. It should not be something that is only in the classroom, all theory. So health is theory, and I think they combine it together. It's a very good combination because they are linked. If you are fit, you are healthy. If you're healthy, you will be fit. If you're not healthy, if you're not healthy, you are not fit. So it's very closely linked. I mean, of course, long ago, health studies is a separate subject, but now we combine health and physical education together.
Hmm. Now, Dr. Liu, I know you to be quite a straight talker when it comes to this type of things. I'm going to go out on a limb to ask you a question.
Yes,
In
sure.
its current form, in Pendidikan Jasmani Kesihatan, or what you call physical and health studies, in its
Yes.
current form in our Malaysian school system, how effective do you think it is based on what you just mentioned just now as becoming a way of life, how effective is it right now in terms of its execution?
Okay. I mean, on paper, I think it's a very beautiful curriculum. It fits into every child going to school. It's always the implementation. In fact, every subject in school, it's the curriculum is beautiful. We have the textbooks, we have TV, we have radio. Everything is very nicely planned. But normally, it is at the school level, at the implementation part. I think we are leading on to what we'll be discussing afterwards. How we can improve the situation. I mean, to be honest, ever since studies were done 50 years ago, nothing much has changed. The same problems seem to be encountered then and now. Like you said, in many schools, what the
I
teacher does
remember
is kick a ball and then you run in the field.
I
Yes.
remember a long time ago during the Olympic Academy session, you shared with us a very interesting story about the founder of the modern Olympic Games, Pierre de Coubertin himself. He
Yes.
himself is a very big proponent and supporter of physical education.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
and he was a fencer like yourself also, right?
Yes.
And he insisted on fencing being part of the Olympic Games. And he actually used PE to bring the young people out of the slump that was after World War One, right? And then he formed the modern Olympic Games. Is that how people educationists envision what PE was supposed to be? All right, to bring people up to be able to use sports, health, and a healthy way of life to be able to generate. If you want to look at if the overly used word nation building, what do you think about that, Dr. Liu?
Yeah, definitely. The Bokoton really one of the key so-called people who insisted that physical education be part of curriculum. He went to rugby school. He went to England. He went to France to study, and because of him, I think most countries are aware that physical fitness is very important. Of course, Olympics and sports are for the elites, but this is talking about the health and fitness of the general population. A society, a country where the people are not very fit, will not progress very far. So I think he was the impetus for moving physical education in schools.
Based on your experience as an educationist for quite a number of years, your CV is impressive and everything. Can you maybe cite some examples of very good some examples of PE that have the same impact that what the Baron had so many years ago, post World War One?
Oh, actually, I think we do studies all over the world. I don't think there's any school in this world where there is no PE. Of course, the better, more developed countries, unlike ours, most of them will have a field, gymnasium, swimming pool. Well, in our situation here, our schools depend on how the facilities. I mean, some schools don't even have a field. Don't even have a hall. So when we compare worldwide, definitely everybody need physical education. We need to be physically fit to be able to move, to be able to run. Otherwise, education is not complete.
Because we only is it a systemic reason why we fail in this area is because of our insistence on the A's and the mugging and the studies?
Yes, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons. I mean, any subject like PE is compulsory, but because it's not an examination subject, I mean, in school we do it, but it's not in a public exam, you don't score. So some of the key performance of schools is based on how many A's they score, how many students. In fact, it's not an exam subject, so you don't have to take it. You can fail in PE, you can fail in health, but the other subjects you cannot afford to fail. That's one reason. Actually, there are many other reasons, which we shall go into that by and by.
Yeah. Before we go into the systemic, how we look at the different stakeholders and everything, we talk a lot here about Olympism. And since that you are one of the original founding board members of the National Olympic Academy that is charged with promoting Olympism in Malaysia, how would you see if we were to implement Olympism? How would it look like in a curriculum in PE? And how would it make it or enhance it or make it better? Or how would you see it being implemented?
Yeah, at the moment, the concept is there, the philosophy is there. I don't think it is possible to have it like some people say as a separate subject. There's no way because it's so crowded already. But we can add in many elements of the Olympic ideals. In fact, most of the ideals in Olympism are already in the various subjects. We talk about ethics, we talk about friendship, we talk about peace, we talk about taking care of environment, we talk about teamwork, we talk about leadership. So definitely, let's say for example, in physical education is part of it. In history, we talk about history of the Olympics, and then in language and English, there are many exercises. So it is actually it's already there. It's just that we got to give a bigger push so that it can really become more dynamic.
Would it be more of an execution problem rather than a conceptual problem?
Yes, definitely. It's implementation at school level.
So, like for example, this was actually I did some research before we came on today, and one of our former National Olympic Academy graduates, Siva, he actually said that the execution level was always the hardest because he had to depend on the qualified teachers or the teachers with the right passion to push all these concepts out of the books and into the field, right? So, if the execution is it? Would you say that is it a failure in terms of the teacher training, or is it more a systemic curriculum not being pushed in its purest form down to the execution level?
Okay, put it this way, yeah. I mean, to me personally, I thought the curriculum is a very good one. We have very well written textbooks which are all evaluated. The problem, like you said, is the teachers, because in most subjects, the teachers who are really qualified will be teaching biology, chemistry, geography. But unfortunately for PE, most of research over the years have shown that hardly 20 or 30% of the teachers who teach PE are actually qualified. Most of teachers who are teaching are not PE majors. So they are just teachers who are asked to teach. So this is what happens. They will be just giving a soccer ball and the kids will be kicking and they'll be under an umbrella or be watching from far because they are not trained PE teachers. So therefore, like you said, one of the things we have to do is definitely increase the number of trained teachers. In fact, it would be ideal if only PE majors teach PE. At the moment, primary school, secondary school, it's the same. Everywhere we go, 50 years ago until today, most teachers who teach PE are not PE majors. They are not trained to teach PE. Therefore, it cannot be very, very effective. And we tolerate situation because it's not an examination subject. Therefore, I will not blame just the teachers. We will go into it afterwards. The school administration and in a small way also sometimes I think parents can definitely help also.
Yeah. Okay. So since we're going to go into the topic anyway, so who is responsible for making physical education work? So I think we'll go straight into the crux of it. Right.
Yes,
So
definitely.
we have a little diagram here. Right. Who
Yes.
are the stakeholders? So Dr. Liu, let's start with. I think we won't go back to we'll leave the students for the last. Let's look at administrators first.
Okay. Now, to me, I would put administrators, including the Ministry of Education, the State Education Department, the school principal, the senior assistants, including even the senior assistant for co-curriculum. Therefore, it is their job to implement. They administer the PE program in school. Now, as far as the Ministry of Education is concerned, I think they have done a very good job because the curriculum is there for The syllabus is there. We have textbooks which are all evaluated. There is technology there. You can have radio programs, TV programs. Uh, there are inspectors going to inspect PE. So as far as the administration at the ministry level is concerned, I think it's pretty established, pretty good. Then similarly at the state level, in every state education department and even the district level, there are administrators who make sure that the subject is implemented properly. For instance, school inspectors, when they come to school, they actually check, make sure that the program is effective like any other subject. And then when it's down to the school level, the principal, being the man, the CEO of the school, he has to ensure that that every week there'll be 2 periods of PE and health, and it's compulsory. Schools that do not have this will be getting in trouble. But then we know again, sometimes because of the pressure, we we know for a fact that often some of the periods are stolen and they are used to teach the more important exam subjects. So in that way, over time, PE become a bit weak because it's the administrators sometimes due to problems of let me add on to another thing. The other thing is also should be the area of the administrators is that schools must have facilities for physical education. They will make sure that there is a field, there is enough equipment. So so most of the time, this is not well taken care of. So when students do not have enough equipment, they end up with just one soccer ball. So that's some of the state of affairs. They need proper planning. The administrators need to make sure that the program is effective by providing all the required facilities.
So when you say, yeah, the administrators, so based on what you just explained to us just now, it seems that the ministry itself is well equipped. They have the structure, they have the framework to be able to monitor, audit, and to make sure that the system is working. But why do we still have comments? And in fact, I'm getting a comment right now from a teacher, a fellow teacher, educator herself, and she says that we give up PJK lessons and sacrifice them for other lessons today. So how did we come to this junction in point? Where did the administrator where is this layer not working anymore? How did it come to where we sacrifice PE?
It's a bit complex, Partly it is the pressure that they have, and of course, the administrators cannot be watching out, keeping an eye on every classroom throughout the whole day. Schools are very big. You have uh, uh, 1 or 2 thousand students. I mean, they try their best because there's so many subjects in the school. Therefore, this is part of the weakness that's been going on for quite a long time. Is because people measure the success of a school through its academic results. They forgot that actually the fitness is so much more important. Because if the kids are not fit, they don't take care of the physical condition, they're not going to perform really well in school. So this is something that we are all aware of, and hopefully something more can be done to make sure that it is, like you said, it's actually a systemic thing. We cannot just blame the administrator alone. Sometimes the teachers themselves, like we just said just now, they are not really qualified, they're not really trained. And the nature of PE is such. For instance, in our kind of climate, PE has been done early in the morning, because if you do it in the midday sun, in the field, so the conditions are not proper, the kids will be sweating, they have to change, all these things take time. Therefore, it's a recurring problem, which if all parties sit together, I'm sure it can be solved. If not totally, at least can be improved.
Okay, all right. So since we are on the, I mean, it was so weird that before we actually had this session 2 days ago, you told me to prepare a Venn diagram. It's like macam cikgu really asked me, go prepare your Venn diagram, Nicholas, and show it to me this morning. So Dr. Liu and I were going back and forth, like, okay, the color wasn't right, the Venn diagram doesn't. I was like, so I felt like I was in school again. So when you're working with the educator, that's what you get. So thanks, Dr. Liu, for bringing me back memory lane. When teacher I had to say that, hey, your Venn diagram are not nice, lah. Can you redo again? So okay, since we are on the Venn diagram on one side, next to administrator we have teachers. So how about the teachers right now? Where do they play the part in physical education?
Yeah, I always believe that the core of education is all about instruction. Education doesn't happen at the ministry level, the state level, or the administrators. It happens in a classroom, it happens in the school field. So teachers are the one who are the closest contact. They are the front line, so to speak, you know. Therefore, we already know over all the years that we said just now, teachers are not trained. They have to be trained. Even if it's not their major, somehow there is some special programs for them. Every school, if you ask a teacher to teach PE, you must prepare the teacher. And most schools, of course, have PE majors. They have a PE department. Therefore, it's a job at the school level to make sure that the teachers can do a good job. You cannot just tell a teacher, okay, you teach PE, this class, that class, this class, and they don't give you the equipment, you see. Now, back to this diagram, for example, you see, in this Venn diagram, of course, all the four stakeholders overlap in the middle. It's PE, physical education. Now, just look at the administrators and the teachers where they overlap. This part where they overlap, that means the teachers and the administrators and school principal and the head of the department, they have to communicate, they have to sit together and talk and come up ways how they can improve the situation. That is between the teachers and the administrators. And then you can also see, of course, it's the teachers who are in direct contact with the students. And then afterwards, we'll move on to parents. Parents can have a role also to play.
So, yeah, Dr. Leo, before we go to parents, there's actually a comment right now. I'll just hold you for a while. While we are still on the topic of we'll go in structure by structure. So since we are on the school side, the ministry side, so there are a couple of questions right now we address before we move into the one. There's a comment here, it's not really a question. Hello from Latvia. I'm so surprised to learn that in Malaysia, PE teachers are not trained to be PE teachers. In Latvia, you can only be a DPE teacher if you're trained. I suppose you're trying to say that you can only be a PE teacher if you're a trained PE teacher.
Yes.
Right. So, and remember, Latvia is not a very big country. They're slightly smaller than us, right? One of the Baltic states over there. I think what is it? Yeah. So, and what's your comment on this, Dr. Leo? I think
this is one of our weakness, definitely. In fact, in school, in almost every subject, most teachers have two majors. You know, when I was a teacher, for instance, my first major was geography, second was English, but I was also asked to teach PE, you see. So, as a professional, we should be trained in our subject. But unfortunately, in Malaysia, not all teachers are PE majors, not even a second major. They are not trained at all. Therefore, something must be done about that. Ideally, every PE teacher should be a trained PE teacher.
Yeah. Okay. So next question, Dr. Leo. Oh, sorry, Dr. Leo, you're not finished. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
No problem. Get on. That's what I mean. It's quite sad. We should make sure they all are trained.
We have a question from Lineo. Dr. Leo, what do you think our government needs to do to ensure that PE gets the importance it needs in Malaysia, since you're on the structural side?
To ensure what the ministry do?
Yeah.
I think there are a lot they can do. The first thing, of course, make sure you have qualified people to teach. Secondly, they will make sure that every school have all the equipment, facilities. In fact, there are some schools are so lucky they even have a swimming pool. And some the fields is so small, the hall is too small, they don't have courts, they don't have equipment. So there are a lot of things that can be done, definitely. But of course, at the ministry level, there's a budget, there's money part, and then they allocate the money to the various schools, to various states. You know? So it is an ongoing problem. And as usual, there's always priority. And just because PE is not an examination subject, it somehow it gets forgotten sometimes.
We have a comment here from someone called Chi Meng. Dr. Leo Anmin, good that you are still involved and concerned about education. Have known you since you taught me geography back in 1975. Wow. A great teacher. So I think that one it's obvious we know that for a long time already. But it's good to actually have wow, 1975.
Thank you.
So I think it's like a virtual reunion for you today to see some of your students here. So I think it's a great thing. All right. So welcome everyone. People who know Dr. Leo from your past lives as students and him as a teacher. Welcome from people all the way from Latvia. So now that we've gone beyond the structure, to summarize it, I think the government or the structure or any government needs to work on facilities and infrastructure and also the framework for teachers to be qualified to teach PE.
Yeah.
So the next part of it is very important. I think this gets neglected a lot. As a parent myself, I'm always very concerned about PE. I have two sons, 13 and 10. And I always realized that I didn't get a very good experience of PE when I was young. So I've always made it a point when looking at my son's, my kids' school, that they have to have a proper PE teacher, a proper PE system, right? So, but how important is the parent factor in this four circle diagram for the stakeholders?
Definitely, definitely. Sometimes people forget, no, education is not just the job of the teacher. Parents are the first educator. So in this case, the parents must give support to the children, make sure that they do attend the physical education classes, be interested in what they're doing. If they need track bottom, they need PE shoes, if they need something, racket or shuttle or whatever, it is a job of the parents to support them, you know. Somehow in Malaysia, sometimes I wish our parents are more effective. We have the PTA, but not many parents do really bother. I mean, if parents keep an eye, you know, on the school, make sure the school does a proper job, make sure that they do not just focus on exam results, but as usual, most parents want to make sure that their children score a lot of A's, but they also remember how being physically fit is so important. So parents themselves should be very active. They themselves should be also fit. So at the moment, I think it's quite well known that when we ask a child, you know, what games do you play, they will name you computer games. Nowadays, hardly any kid will say, "Oh, I play soccer, I play hockey, you know, I play badminton." To them, game is computer game. So sometimes it's partly our society now that is evolving, but we must not forget that it is still important for our children to sweat. So parents sometimes, I mean, sure, a good example, do not always take them to supermarket, you know, take them, I mean, go to the field, go for a run, jog together, cycling together, you know. So they should also encourage the children not to be couch potatoes, spending time on the computer or on the mobile phone all the time, you know. So therefore, parents definitely play a very important role in education. And PE to me will be one of the key factors where they keep an eye on the children.
Hmm. As experienced educationist for so many years, as a parent yourself, and also I mean we are two fathers talking to each other also in a way. If we were to put a pin to where a finger on what parents can do immediately right now, starting tomorrow, this weekend, what can they do to get this moving? Especially now, it's so concerning that they are not in school, they are at home because of the lockdown. No, wherever you are, whether it's the MCO in Malaysia or the lockdown in whatever country you're in, how is it more? How what can if you were to give an advice or give some kind of a solution right now? How do we start making right now for parents who are actually, I see a lot of parents right now logged into our session right now.
Yes. Well, definitely. I mean, for one, get involved in physical activities with the children. Go out for a walk with them. You know, play games with them. Go to the field. Even now, we can go out to the padang. You know, go fishing. Go out of the house. Just do not be glued to the books or be glued to the TV or the mobile phone. And of course, do take a more active part in the school. Do take a more active part in the school because most parents, you know, only go to school once a year when they have to go to collect report card, you know, talk to the teacher. Otherwise, or they pick up the kid and send them to school. I mean, as a parent, we always advise that you must keep track every day. You know, make sure they do the homework. Make sure did you PE today? What game did you play? You know, when they need a new pair of shoes, there's holes already, or the shirt is torn. You know, they need a towel. They need a water bottle. You know? So I mean, that's a normal advice to any parent. And sometimes we are quite guilty because we're so busy doing our own things.
I would say that now, I mean, not a question but more a general comment. I think the societal structure today is that parents are all dual income, they're both working right now, and the general excuse is that no time lah. I mean, how to go and check on my son, right? In most cases, they just park the kids in a tuition center or enrichment center and pick them up in the evening. I think that's pretty much it. All right. So, but how would you, if let's say okay, the physical part of it we can handle, that's not a problem. How about the theoretical part of, you know, when you talk about ethical part of it, the leadership side of it? What would you suggest to parents out there they can do during this RMCO while the kids are all stuck at home?
I mean, to me, the best is still by example lah. Leadership by example. You know, parents who insist that children must read, they don't read. Ask the kids to exercise, they don't exercise. You know, don't smoke while they smoke. And therefore, I mean, to me, we are the role model. I mean, so parents are always the first role model. So sometimes people ask, "Oh, what will your child be like?" You just look at the parent, lah. You will know what they be like, I mean, that's general statement, not necessarily true because some children have their own willpower, have their own determination. They have a lot of other role models. So in this aspect, I was thinking that we all have to work together. All have to work together. Be more aware, be more involved, you know, in the children's education.
Okay. All right. So now let's look at the final factor, the students. So a lot of times the buck stops with the teachers and the administrators. But how much of a say is the relationship with the students themselves, the actual recipients of PE?
Yeah, actually, yeah, PE in school is for the students. The main objective is to make sure that they get physical, they sweat a bit, make sure the body, make sure they're healthy, then they be able to do well in school. They don't get sick so easily. They allow good resistance. So students sometimes they find it such a hassle. They have to change clothes. I mean, these things nowadays, you look, for example, sometimes I walk past some school fields. I see 40 kids chasing after one ball. Rushing here, rushing there like like a shoal of fish. And then they're all wearing the same color even, all purple color, all red color. I mean, those days, I mean, during my time, for example, we have 11 on one side, very simple, boys' school. All the boys take off the shirts. So those without shirts on one team, wearing shirts in the other team. So you have a class of 40, you can have two separate sets, 11 each side. Therefore, I see the students must be sort of, the brainwashed to tell them that you need to be physically fit. PE is physical education. You need a strong body so that you have a good mind to be able to think, so that you are skillful enough, cycling. And then, the other factor is very important. We call it co-curriculum. So long ago, we say extracurricular, extramural. Now it's co. Co-curriculum is equally important. We don't just learn in a classroom. Every subject we have after school, the various subjects, the various activities, the uniform movements, the sports, the games. So this is one field where sports come in. Luckily, schools have sports days. They have houses. They have all sorts of games in school, and this is part of physical education. The 2 periods is just a formal time in the timetable. Other than that, it pervades all other activities in school. Therefore, I think the students somehow it is the job of the teachers to motivate them. The parents should motivate them to let them know, hey, it's very important, for you to make sure you keep fit. Don't get sick so often. Don't get coughs and colds so often. They're out in the sun once a blue moon. No, not once a blue moon. I mean, as often as you can. Go cycling. Don't stay in your room all the time. I think these are some of the things that the students have been made fully aware.
Okay, we're going to take some questions, Dr. Leo.
Yeah,
We
sure.
have one from Linio. Again, she's asking, this is quite an interesting question. This question is related to the structural part of it. Remember the government part of it. If we were to, do you think that making a PE examination subject, would it increase its importance to all the stakeholders involved?
Somehow, when you make something examinable, grades are given, it becomes more important. However, for PE, it's going to be quite a technical problem itself, because you got to test them in psychomotor skills, the skills outside, how fit they are, how much they can jump. So the technical part actually can be solved. The logistics can be quite a nightmare. So just by making it compulsory will not necessarily make it more effective. Not necessarily. It's quite a good impetus. Everybody suddenly realize, wow, it's compulsory, so we have to be more serious about it. The teachers are getting more serious, administrators are getting more serious. But can you imagine where kids have to be examined on so many things? To me, physical education is meant to make you fit, be aware of the physical side. Examination, you will know. Actually, you don't even to sit for examination. The kid is so weak, fail to go to school often, or most of the time, having coughs, having cold, that is really a good sign. So examination, physical examination is good enough. So I personally, if you ask me, making PE examination subject will not necessarily solve the problem. At the moment, it's already compulsory. To me, making it compulsory is good enough. It's good enough.
So no need to be exam, just a compulsory subject in terms of getting the participation.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Because but you make sure we implement it properly, professionally, to make sure it is effective and efficient.
Okay. Right. We have a question here, quite interesting, and this is actually something that I've been wondering for a long time or so from Halim. How long does a teacher get their training in the respective teacher training institutes as a PE teacher, or is there any kind of training done at the teacher training level?
You mean in general or specifically for PE? Anyway, now
Specifically for PE.
it depends on the entry level. For instance, those days in teacher training, if you have a Form 5 qualification, you go in for 3 years, you have Form 6 for 2 years. If you have a degree, it's only 1 year diploma in education. But nowadays, all our institute perguruan for teachers already, we what we call pengsiswasahan. We are trying to make every teacher a graduate teacher. At one time, the graduate teachers are only found in secondary school. None of our primary school teachers go to university. But nowadays, most teachers already have a degree. Some even have master's degree. So gradually, teacher training institutes will become like universities. To be a professional, you need a degree. So it's a long-term project. Now, from now on, the teacher training is very, very, shall I say, intensive, and depends on your entry qualification. We accept teachers nowadays. In fact, most teachers have Form 6 qualification. Form 3 is still okay. At one time, people with Form 3 LC, we take in teachers, but now more and more with so many IPGs in the country, almost every state has one or two. Our ultimate aim is to make sure that every teacher have a degree, fully trained, fully qualified.
Okay, we have another question here. With the COVID-19 happening, do you think PE structure needs to change?
I think so. Now everything has to have the new normal. So, for example, on the 24th, when you go back to school, we still got to make sure there's social distancing. So there are certain games will be a bit more difficult, but gradually, I suppose you go back to the normal. Because physical activity, you have to be physical.
Yes, correct.
If
you want to go virtual, how effective is it going to be virtual? Daphne is asking this question right now.
Oh, in fact, if you ask me now, you just watch the television. Make sure you also jump together, lah. Don't just watch passively. I mean, I sometimes I'm a bit cynical. For instance, professional football is so important, millions of followers. But how many of these fans do actually play a game of soccer? I think a very small minority. So now we have to change the paradigm now. Shift to people. If it's a virtual, online, or whatever, in your room, in the living room, you can still get up and do something physical. Dance together with the TV. You see a show on TV, they dance. You can dance. They sing, you sing. There should be some movement instead of being what you always say, being just a couch potato. Of course, you can learn, you can do physical education via technology. You just got to move. You have to move.
Let's see. There's a comment here from Charanjit. Charan used to be one of our graduates from the NOA. So nowadays, sports science has been introduced as a subject STPM. Right. So there is some significant increase in importance already.
Yes, definitely. Gradually, it will take some time because for so many years, it wasn't given much emphasis, and everybody is very relaxed about it, because it's not examinable, nothing to worry about.
I think Charan also commented for primary schools, virtual PE will be a headache. Getting the kids moving and everything. We have a comment here from Leong Ji Sek. PE structure have no need to change in terms of majority wise, but Malaysian mentality and culture, particular parents. I think he's trying to say that the one we talked about just now, parents have to play their part to monitor and
Yes.
to and play the role model and everything. Thank you very much, Leong Ji, for that comment. We have one question that is not in our not in our live comments, and it's actually quite interesting. I like to address this. It's for Mary Ang in Singapore. Um, Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on PE. I'm also a PE teacher. I think the challenges faced by PE teachers in Malaysia and Singapore are quite similar, where PE is not an examinable subject. However, we are slightly more fortunate where PE teachers many years ago are all trained for at least 2 years before they can be taught to schools. Right? I'd like to ask Dr. Liu about his opinion about esports as a compulsory sports to be taught now. I mean, with the advent of esports, playing things online, games online, is that something that is going to be the future? What's your opinion on esports as a compulsory sport in PE?
Okay. Uh, I think it's been in. I was in the curriculum development center. We want those to start with this co-curriculum thing. It is compulsory for every school child to have three groups. We call it. One is you must take a game, a sport, badminton, soccer, athletics, whatever. Secondly, you must be involved in one uniform movement thing. Girl guides, cadet band, scouts, some uniform movement thing, St. John's, And the third one is a society or an activity, a geographical society, a chess club. So it's already there. Every school child is compulsory must take one sport, one game of their choice. And this is normally held with a special day, co-curriculum, Saturdays, Wednesday afternoons. So it's been there for quite some time already. Compulsory in the sense that every school child must take up at least one sport. Of course, they can take up two or three if they like it. They can excel in it.
Okay.
And that's already in the structure.
But how about esports? Esports, just a person. Okay, lah. I mean, I do know people. I know Alan out there. If you are watching, I know Alan Pang, my friend of mine. He's a good friend of mine. He's an esport advocate and everything. Esports. I mean, a lot of people say that's not even a sport. Why should it even be included as a sport? It's just people sitting in front of a computer with the mouse and the keyboard and everything. And hey, it's not a sport. Why should it even be considered a sport? So does that fall into the structure of that tree that you just spoke about?
Actually, that one is that sometimes in some of these games they have chess as one of these in this multi-sport thing. Chess is sit there and just move with your brain and your hand, and it's called a sport. So I suppose it depends on the society, on the group of people concerned. If you want to call it a sport, call it a sport. It's how they define it. It's how they define it.
So basically, you are of the opinion that as long as you deem it a sport, if you feel that it's within that structure, right, that's the way to go, lah. Basically.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, right. Tanya, okay, I'm taking the question from Tanya, and Tanya asked that. Great to hear from you again, Dr. Leo. 100% agree with you that parents are role models. How do you think we can improve the quality of PE classes so students get the most out of the 60 minutes weekly?
Yeah, okay. That's not easy to answer. Let me try to say just now.
It's not going to be easy night, so I guess.
The quality thing is always a problem. Quantity is not a problem. The quality. Like we said just now, I think a lot depends on the teacher, definitely. The student themselves must be motivated. That you have some of them to be role models. It's all about motivating. And then the teacher, of course, also must be quite creative, not just a
very crucial thing about it. But in the end of the day, is it very teacher dependent? They need to work out all these things. So hence we go back to that same debate again, that hey, we are not training them hard enough.
Yeah. I mean, of course, the newer concept is the teacher is there as a facilitator,
correct.
It's a teacher who must learn, who must do most of the things. He must be the one. The teacher talk, the student do all the walking. The teacher, students must also talk and walk together, So everything is a matter of a win-win, working together. The administrator, the teacher, the parents. So to me, they must talk, they must communicate. At the moment, each one is doing their own thing, The parents doing their own, the teacher doing their own, the school doing their own, the students also on their own. So somehow, the four main stakeholders, we must come with a mechanism. Sometimes they call it a sports day or PE day, and bring them all together. I mean, communication is very important. After all have an interest in it. We all have an interest to make sure that our children are well educated. Therefore, it is important that they must communicate. If you ask me, they must communicate. At the moment, I think there isn't enough communication. Each one is trying to solve the problem their own way without finding out what the other one is doing. So I mean, to me, my whole crux and purpose today is that to make PE is important. Definitely, you know that, we know that it's compulsory, but it is not as effective. It's not as good as we wish it would be. So to me, one of the main key factor is all the parties concerned. They have to work together. I mean, it's like parenting, husband and wife as a team have to work together. A family unit has to work together. Grandparents, uncles, aunties. So education is not the job of the teacher alone. So it has to be a teamwork thing. This is where Olympism comes in. There must be leadership.
Yes.
There must be ethics. There must be leadership. There must be honesty. There must be awareness. They must be really sincere in wanting to improve.
Citius, Autius, Fortius, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So they can jump higher and do better.
Yeah. I think the principles of the Olympic Games or Olympism, as the Baron once said before, is that it's not the destination but the journey. And I think the journey is very important because all the four stakeholders are equally involved in that. So, if let's say, for example, if I were to put this question to you right now, if we were to summarize everything in one phrase or one sentence, how do we make PE a way of life with Olympism?
As we are like, yeah. Actually, we practice it every day. It's just that we make more aware. If you ask me, most of us every day, we are actually practicing it.
Mhm.
But then we have to be very, shall I say, conscious, be aware. Every day we look around us, we see people not doing things that they're supposed to do, they are dirtying the environment, people are being rude. So, and then everybody is depending on, don't want to be involved. So, as a way of life, it's like everything else. We talk about religion, we talk about our career. So Olympism somehow it permeates all these things. It's a very nice overall concept that we must try our best. That we must be friendly. We must always go for peace. And
So,
of course, try to
uh,
achieve as much as we can.
can I safely say that what you're trying to say is that we are already practicing PE every day? We are doing all the concepts. It's just that we are not allowing some kind of awareness or consciousness for among
Yes,
all the four stakeholders,
yes, yes. So we
right?
have to go all out, to promote this thing. But it's a way of life. We got to try to excel. We got to cooperate. We got to look for peace. But you look at the world today, it's sometimes it's going the opposite direction.
Okay, all right. So Dr. Liu, before we close up, do you have any closing remarks about where do we go from here? Where is that start? Do we have to draw the line again, or is this the starting point? Especially now that COVID-19 is forcing us for lots of paradigm shifts right now.
Yeah, yeah. No matter what, ultimately we have to adjust. Change is a constant. I'm very confident that, like one of the commentators just now, the structure is there. Our not just PE, but every subject in our curriculum, it's there. The system, the structure, the textbooks, the technology, the teachers, the school administrators, it's all there. It's just that we have to, of course, ensure that this whole engine work together, go smoothly, is for the good, to make sure that our children have proper quality education, so that they'll be able to contribute to society, so they'll be leading a useful life. So to me, back to our final question is how important. Of course, we know it's very important. It is very, very important. Just so to make sure that what we do is commensurate, that we implement it, so that it deserves to be a very important component in our education system.
Okay, all right. So thank you so much, Dr. Liu, for joining us tonight. You've
Welcome.
of course been a very big breath of fresh air in terms of your honesty, your straight shooting in terms of this, and your insight. I think a lot of us never realize there's so much to just PE. People just think it's just satu cikgu, paling bola, pergi main, and then that's it. I think there's people don't realize the structure to it. So I want to thank you so much for giving us your time tonight, Dr. Leo.
You are welcome.
All right. We hope to get you more often on our series. In fact, I think you have so much more to contribute in terms of just PE. I think your mind and your insight is just wasted on just PE, a subject alone. I think we can do a lot more on that, and I think we'll go back to the community and we find out how we can tap on your brains more on it. So again, thank you so much for your gracious attendance tonight, Dr. Leo.
You're welcome. All the best. Good
All right.
luck. Okay.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to do a quick wrap up in terms of this session tonight about physical education. I'd like to thank everyone for all your comments, your questions. Very insightful, very straight. We have questions and comments all the way from Latvia, even down south to our neighbors in Singapore. Just to wrap up, I personally feel that there was always been a big debate that PE is a waste of time. Right? Personally speaking, from my personal experience from school, PE for some years was good. Some PEs from some forms or some years in my school was bad. You had teachers who just, like I said, throw the ball to you, blow a whistle, and after half an hour, go change and go back to class. And there wasn't a sense that there was some kind of cohesive structure. But I think Dr. Leo, in summary, has shown us that PE is not just a one-off thing. It is a structural process. It is a structural curriculum that is there for to highlight the importance of physical education and health studies for our children. And he's also highlighted the four stakeholders that are very important: the administrators and the teachers. But what I'd like to also address tonight to close up, I think the two stakeholders that are most, the one stakeholder that's very important, I think some have also brought it up here in the comments. We can't change a lot of things when it comes to the administrators, as Dr. Leo said. The administration itself is there. The structure is there. The curriculum is there. The teachers are also there. Granted that we need to work on the teacher training aspects of things, and also to get more qualified PE teachers to actually be there to be able to execute PE properly. But the one factor that I think he mentioned a lot, but is parents. Parents have a very big part to play in it. Like he said just now, monkey see, monkey do, role models. It's all about picking up the ball and going out there and playing with your child, being involved in their sports, being involved in their physical education. As a parent myself in today's world, there's always this inherent temptation to allow the device to entertain our kids. And I would personally say that sometimes I may have been guilty of it when my kids were much younger. And I think all of us parents are guilty of it sometimes when it comes to it. And let's be honest about it. The device is a form of distraction sometimes to get us away from that this is lull in that moment. But physical education is very important. And one of the things that we can take back, and in summary, I'd like to close this off, is Olympism. I encourage all of you, and we'll be posting a bit more about this. We hope that we can post more stories about you, that you can, as a parent, can share. A long time ago, I remember my father always sharing with me stories of a person called Sebastian Coe, a British track and field runner who ran the 1,500 meters. Told me stories to encourage me, to inspire me to go out and run and things like that. And I do the same thing with my kids today. There are so many stories that out there in the Olympic Games, hence why we are here today with the Malaysian Olympism in Action community. We are athletes and everything, and we tap on these stories to inspire people. And I think as parents, we can share. There's lots of stories out there. Just go search on it, right? Wilma Rudolph, all right, battling illness all her life as a child, becoming a multi-sport, multi-medal Olympic winner, right? If you like today, go back and Google a bit of homework for you right now. Go and Google Shun Fujimoto, Japanese gymnast, right? And what he did was very inspiring to show about perseverance and taking one for the team and leadership that Dr. Liu was talking about just now. The story is that he fractured his knee in an earlier gymnastic routine, and he kept his injury secret from his team because he felt that he didn't want the team to be demoralized because their captain was injured. So he kept it to himself. And what he did next was the two wings event, the double wing event. And when he dismounted, he actually landed on that particular injured knee, right? And those are stories that we should, as parents, tell our kids, share with them. And these are very valuable stories we can share with them to enable them to get to see that sports is not just something that, oh, I have to be good in. It's an enabler in life that we can allow us to be able to see so much more to it. So it adds more value to PE. So I'd like to thank everyone so much in closing for all your comments today. All right. And I'd like to also I continue debating this. This is a very popular topic and subject. So I'd like to thank all the people, Linio, who's at the back right now handling the session. Thank you so much for handling this session tonight. And I'd like to thank everyone out there for joining us on this time. And I wish you good night. Stay safe, stay at home, and let's flatten the curve and let's beat this COVID-19. Thank you very much, everyone.